Hey everyone, here's the bootleg version of the Marvel Legends MCU Iron Man Mark IV. This was a Walmart exclusive from the Iron Man 2 movie series toyline. I don't have the original version to compare with, but I can share with you how to spot the authentic version from this bootleg version. I just reviewed the Mark VI from the same toyline, and on AliExpress some of the sellers actually sell both of these as a set. They are quite cheap, I think around 10 USD, but is the quality any good? Let me share it with you. The very obvious thing that you can see is the floating left armor pad above the shoulder. The shoulder pad on the right works just fine, but the shoulder pad on the left doesn't drop nicely on the figure. If I were to force it, I guess it does kind of stay in place. And this happened for both Mark IV and Mark VI. Here's the authentic version of Mark VI, and you can see there isn't any problem with the shoulder pad dropping nicely on the shoulder. Another thing is that the figure kind of slants slightly to the left side. Again, no issues for the original because the original figure stands upright. The paintwork of the figure is quite decent, but if you do have the original to compare with, the gold is definitely slightly different. The gold on the authentic is kind of smoother applied compared to the one on the bootleg. It's a bit difficult to see in camera, but it's really obvious when you have them in hand. Another obvious difference will be the elbow. Just like on the bootleg Mark VI, there is kind of a circle that is imprinted or indent at the elbow joint. You can kind of see the semicircle over here on the Mark IV. It is a bit more obvious on the Mark VI. For the right elbow, there is an R for the authentic Mark VI. The R is engraved inwards, but for the bootleg Mark IV is the letter L instead. The bootleg Mark VI also have that circular indent at the elbow. So having the L shape on the right elbow is a giveaway that this is a bootleg. For articulation, the articulation of the bootleg is pretty much the same as the authentic. The only difference would be that the joint over here is really tight, the hip joint. If you want to kind of bring the leg up sideways, it's quite tight. But other than that, the joints are pretty much okay. One last obvious difference would be the neck ball joint. You can see the ball joint for the head over here is really pale compared to the red on the body. This is definitely one of the main signs to tell that the figure is a bootleg version and not the authentic version. Now for the accessories, I really don't like this unmasked head because it is so small compared to other Marvel Legends figures. Like for example, you see the size of the Pizza Spidey head. This Tony Stark head is definitely undersized, and you definitely cannot swap this out to put on any Iron Man figure. For example, if I have the recent Mark 85 and I were to put this head on, yep, doesn't work. Anyways, for this bootleg version, the shades can be taken off to reveal an unpainted pair of eyes. Somehow, I have the authentic head in my bunch of accessories that I have, and for the authentic, the shades are actually glued to the head, so you can't take them off. And also, there's a slight difference in the way the beard is painted. You can see for the bootleg, it's really kind of like a McDonald's sign. Lol. But for the authentic, they are drawn a bit more sharper at the ends, and yep, definitely doesn't look like the McDonald's sign for this one. But then again, it's not too obvious though. And on the inner side, for my authentic, the hole is really circular, but for the bootleg, you can see that the way they drilled the hole is kind of slanted. Yeah, it's not really a clean circular shape, but of course it sits on the figure as per normal. That really took some effort to actually push it into the ball pack. And for the hands, one way to tell that it is not the original are the ends of the pegs. You can see the whitish part at the end of the peg, and also that it's not cleanly cut. You can see excess plastic at the sides or around it. For the authentic, the peg definitely looks better and doesn't have any of those whitish part. You can see that the whitish part is on all of the bootleg version. For the authentic, all of them are really clean. And one more thing about the bootleg hand is that the armor pad comes off easily. So you'll have issues of this thing dropping off when you keep them. You have to super glue it yourself or something to make it stay in place. Like even this one over here, it really drops easily. There. So for these two bootleg Marvel Legends Mark 4 and Mark 6, I really don't recommend them. They are kind of cheap, so if you don't mind that the quality is so bad, then maybe you might want to get them. But trust me when I say that it's really better off that you try to find the authentic. This is definitely one of the poorer quality bootlegs that I've gotten. But at least this Mark 4 doesn't have the issue of the torso cracking apart, unlike the Mark 6. Thanks for watching. Do stay tuned for more comparison videos. Do hit the subscribe button if my video helps, and I'll see you in the next video.